Hello. Oh, we good, yeah. Alright, hello. My name is Hudson, and this is Dead Rising 2 Off the Record. It's a wonderful, wacky zombie slaying game where we're going to run through the TimeSkip category, which gets us through the entire main story in just about over an hour. There's quite a bit to explain, so I'm just going to get into the game. So time will start as soon as I press A right here, so right now. So, there's a lot going on in this game. If you're familiar with the Dead Rising series, or any games at all, you'll be thinking, how the hell can you speedrun this game at all? And if you're not familiar with it, that's because there's a lot of, like, I suppose, auto-scroller segment to this game. There is a set timer, and main story missions are only available during that time in the game. So, as you play through, you'll have like periods where you have to wait for the next story mission to be available. Now obviously in a speedrun we don't want that. We don't want to be waiting around for hours and hours on end. So what we have is a mod file called TimeSkip, which allows us to basically skip ahead in time right to where the next mission is as soon as we finish the last main story mission. Hence why this category is called TimeSkip. Now right here at the start, we've actually got to wait for these guys to finish having their little conversation over here before we can get into the main kind of game of the thing. So I'm just going to run through a couple of other little things that we're going to be doing throughout the game. So as you see right here, I've got the camera. I'm popping in and out of that a lot. The camera is going to be very, very useful for us throughout the game for a number of reasons. Particularly, like, it's meant to be used to take pictures, to gain experience points with. We're not going to do that at all. That's what they want us to do right now. We're going to not do that, because every time we take a picture, it's going to freeze up time. We don't want to do that. We want to go quickly. What the camera is useful for, however, is cancelling a lot of animations. So things like taking damage, getting off getting out of vehicles, off of skateboards, attack animations, everything like that, we can cancel by just popping in and out of the camera very, very quickly. It allows us to do a whole bunch of things very quickly that we don't otherwise want to take ages doing. I'll show it off quite a bit throughout the run, and I'll kind of try and explain what I'm doing when I'm doing it. These guys are almost finished with their conversation, and then I can show off the first little trick with that as we proceed to get into the main portion of the run. So, you can hold down start to skip all of the cutscenes, so we're not going to see any of that. Alright, so these guys are angry at us for eavesdropping on a conversation, and it's a bit slow to try and beat them all up, so we're going to let them beat us up instead. So I'm just spamming it into the camera here, so every time I get hit, I'm immediately able to take damage again. So there's no damage animation, and there we go, we're dead. Good job. Cool. So, now that we're dead, we're going to run out of the room in a cutscene, and then we're going to head upstairs, and suddenly there's zombies. And we went to go run through this whole arena area, watched a lot of people die. It's quite loud. And we're meant to escape, but we don't want to do that, so we're going to stand in fire and die again, because it's much, much quicker to just die multiple times in a row. So we're just going to wait for that to happen. And there we are. Another death. That's 2 in under 2 minutes.
So why is the death part of the run?
So it's faster to die than run through the entire area of the arena and get out to where you're meant to go.
I see. Okay.
Because that takes maybe like about a minute to do so, and dying there is maybe about 20 seconds.
Oh, fine.
So yeah, we're just going to wait for these cutscenes. There's quite a few cutscenes that happen here, so it's like skipping through a bunch of different loadings. And then we're just immediately skipping through the cutscene, and then we are here. So, in this we play as Frank West, who is infected from the events of Dead Rising 1 with the zombie virus. So he needs a drug called Zombrex every 24 hours in-game, otherwise he's going to turn into a zombie. Now we don't have any Zombrex, so we're going to need to go and find some ASAP before we proceed with the rest of the events of the game. So we're going to find our way out of the little safe room that we managed to get to, and head out into Fortune City to start exploring the main game. Now you can see over on the right it says find Zombrex, and we've got a little red bar beneath it. That kind of indicates how much time we have left before the end of the mission. So when it turns red, we have an in-game hour left. Every minute in-game is 5 real-life seconds, so that equates to about 5 minutes for us to find Zombrex. It's not going to take us that long, but it is an important thing to notice if you are playing the game casually. So the first thing we're going to do is head back straight into this shop over here, and we're going to grab ourselves some skateboards. Now, this game is, in the speedrun, much more a Tony Hawk game than it is any kind of zombie slaying game. We're going to be skateboarding basically everywhere to get around nice and quickly. It allows us to, move very fast, and we can plow through zombies nice and easily without having to worry. Now you'll see back in the corridor that I came out of just now, and right here we are going to be picking up a security box key. There are, I believe, 11 of these that we need to pick up early on in the game that allow us to unlock a bunch of security boxes in a bank later on to get a lot of money, because we need $1 million by about midway through this run. And that sounds like a lot right now when you see I have 36,000, but don't worry, we'll get there. So on our way to try and find some Zombrex, we've got some angry looter dudes that we need to very quickly and heartlessly murder. So we're just going to shoot them in the head until they're dead. And now we have a key into this back room to get our first dose of Zombrex. Now we need 4 of these throughout the game. So that's the first one, and we're going to have most of the rest accounted for by the end of the game. We pick up 2 more later on, and we will then buy one with our excess money at the end of the game. So we're going to head up here and back towards the safe room, but we're going to make a quick detour first to grab one of these magazines in here. Now, magazines are very, very useful. So we pick them up and keep them in our inventory, and they provide us with passive bonuses. The 2 that we're going to grab throughout this run are both to increase the durability of our skateboard. So at base, the skateboard has a durability of 16 zombie hits, so we can crash into 16 zombies before it will break. You can see at the top right, the one we currently have in our hand is blinking, which means it has less than a third of its durability left. But that's okay, because this one isn't that important to keep for very long. Once you have the magazine, that times by 3, and then when we have both magazines, that's times 3 for times 9 for 144 total zombie hits. So we'll have quite a tanky skateboard once we get that second magazine, which we'll be getting shortly. But for now, we're going to be heading back to the safe house to complete the first main story mission, or Case 1-1, where we find out that the zombie outbreak in the city is being blamed on a zombie rights activist group that is also in the safe room, and we think that's a little sus. Frank West is a kind of intrepid photojournalist. He broke the story of the original zombie outbreak in the first game, and what happened with that, so he thinks, something's going a bit amiss, so he's going to go and do some investigating.
I'll be perfectly honest, when I see Frank West, I do not think journalist.
Well, he was a journalist in the first game. And then in the original, Dead Rising 2, we played as a different character entirely, but off the record is a what-if scenario where Frank West comes to Fortune City and basically plays through Dead Rising 2 as if he was the main story. The main hero, I should say. Now the arrow's going to tell us to turn right here, but we're going to ignore that because it has no idea what it's talking about, and we're going to head over this way. Also, previously I grabbed a pair of shoes from the sports shop on our right. That's one part of an outfit that we're going to collect a different number of parts for. It's called the Sports Fan outfit, and we need, well, previously we thought we needed 4 parts to it, but it turns out that there's one part that doesn't actually mean anything. That's one of our skateboards breaking, and I hate zombies. So once we have the full outfit, which is just 3 parts, we do not need the helmet that we're going to pass by in a moment, it will provide us with a bunch of passive bonuses, the most important of which is a slight move speed increase to both us and anybody following us, so if we have any survivors with us, which we will 2 times throughout this run, they'll move a little bit faster. It means that any alcohol we consume and snacks will heal us for more. We won't be able to get sick from drinking too much alcohol, which is quite useful considering it heals for quite a lot. And thrown weapons that we use will deal a little bit more damage, which comes in handy once or twice, and I've forgotten a key. The very appropriately numbered 690 key. So there is a helmet behind us there that is usually part of the outfit, but we don't need that. Apparently the outfit works with just the 3 parts without the helmet. We only discovered this quite recently, so it's a nice little skip thing. It's much more useful in other categories because we can omit going to that shop that we just went through entirely, but this one we do need to go through it for that 1 key there. Anyway. So we're just doing a bunch of kind of grocery shopping right now, collecting a bunch of things that we need for the run before we get onto our main story kind of rush. So we're going to head in here and grab ourselves a second magazine. So now, like I said, our skateboards will last for 144 zombie hits, which is quite a lot. These 2 skateboards will get us through most of the rest of the game. Also, fun fact, most of the female zombies in this game immediately try and bite your crotch. The developers of this game are very mature. So we're going to mix coffee creamer with a cocktail there. I wouldn't recommend doing it at home. But that makes a blended drink called Quick Step. Now there's a big theme in these games of combo weapons, combo drinks, combo vehicles. We don't see too much of the combo weapons, but we do make ample use of combo drinks every now and then to do certain things. Mostly Quick Step. which allows us to kind of move on foot quite fast, which we're going to use in the upcoming case, just to get across the area a little bit quicker without a skateboard.
So you just turned into some sports clothes there. Is there any particular reason for that?
Yeah, so that's the second part of the sports fan outfit that we need to collect 3 pieces of. So the last bit we'll be getting after this case is the face paint. Previously we got it a bit earlier in the run, so we'd actually have the outfit by now, but we actually found out it's probably about maybe 30 seconds faster to grab it later, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
So right now I'm kind of looking at my health at the top left, and I'm a bit worried that it's blinking. It's very possible to bonk into a wall and just die, so I don't really want to do that. I'm just going to be a little bit careful here as I make my way around. I don't want to die, so I'm going to eat a fish. I wouldn't recommend eating a fish out of a casino fountain. And we're going to leave our skateboard there, because we don't really need it anymore. And out into Fortune Park. So we've got all of our items that we need right now. There'll be a couple more keys that we'll grab along the way, but we are going to head to the start of Case 1-2 now. And we're going to meet with kind of one of the main secondary characters of the game, Rebecca, who we're going to be seeing quite a lot throughout. And we're going to be getting frustrated with quite a lot throughout, potentially. So we have to do a number of different sections where we're basically saving the girl. In this bit, we're just kind of escorting her across this area where she shows us to where she got the videotape of the Cure employees apparently causing the zombie virus. And we're going to hop over this counter right here and grab a little handgun, because we've got some more looters to deal with in a moment. And one more key. So Rebecca is a very nice lady, so she's going to teach us how to save our game, even though by this point we've been playing for about maybe half an hour, maybe a bit longer if you're playing casually. So you should probably know how to save your game by now, but she's just going to remind you. So she's going to take us in here to the bathroom and, you know, teach us how to save the game. But we don't want to care about that, so we're just going to talk to her real quick, span through that, and head out. And then I'm going to crash into a wall. RNG manipulation, I promise. So, now that we have our quick step, we're going to move ahead a little bit, and we're going to drink that, which makes us move about 2.5 times faster, and it also makes Rebecca move a lot faster.
Is there any RNG in this in this game? Well,
I'd say like probably the biggest part of RNG in this game is just zombies spawning in your way and stuff like that. There are fights later on that can be quite RNG, but not like major that I need to manipulate. It's just, you know, luck rather than RNG, if that makes sense. I don't like to use the term RNG for stuff like that.
So I was going to say as well, you're leaving Rebecca quite far behind here. Is she just
Yeah.
fine to catch up, or do you need to
Yeah.
really keep an eye on her?
So she has a set path that she'll make through the thing. She will stop in these shops, and she's meant to react to the fact that there's looters in there, but we've run ahead and already killed them, so she's kind of just reacting to nothing. But yeah, we can run ahead as much as we like, and she'll follow that set path, but I do like to keep an eye on her, because it is possible for her to get grabbed by zombies and then get stuck there forever. Then we have to go back and free her, which is kind of why we drink the quick step, because her speeding through the zombies makes her far less likely to get grabbed. So we are into the arena near the start.
interesting that quick step actually affects her.
Yeah, so in Base Dead Rising 2, it doesn't, which makes that section a lot more frustrating. She also takes a longer route. It's one of the upgrades to Off the Record over... Can you not do that, Rebecca?
Do you not share your drinks with your friends? Is this not something you do? Well, I should know this before I go on a night out with you.
Dumb.
Well, I don't know if me drinking would get you drunk, because that's how it works in this game, apparently. So what we don't want her to do is what she just did there, where she just keeps shooting the zombies instead of actually coming over here. Okay, she is coming. She's taking her time. We can't progress through the rest of this section until she gets here. So we're just going to have to get clawed up a little bit until she decides to show herself. She's going to get stuck there, and then as soon as she passes through this, we can open that door, and that's the end of Case 1-2. Actually, wait, 1-3. So 1-2 was just meeting her, 1-3 was heading here, and then we find that someone basically killed the security guards in there and is trying to cover something up. So now we are pretty certain that something sus is going on. And we get a little call to head back to the safe room, because Sullivan, who's the Army Reserve man who was basically put in charge of the safe house, is trying to kick the Cure protesters, the zombie rights activist group, trying to kick them out. But before we go back and resolve that, we're going to make one more little detour up here to my second least favorite part of this run. these light fixtures, this little mini jumping section, I cannot express to you how many times I've fallen off them. I'm really hoping I'm not going to do it today. It looks really simple. It is very simple. Okay,
It does
I have
not
managed
look
to do
simple.
it. It's just a bunch of
It just
jumps
looks
in a row.
awkward.
It's very awkward. I've fallen off so many times.
I can imagine, yeah.
But we did manage to do it this time around, so we get the face paint, which completes
Okay, who
our
put
sports
face
fan
paint
outfit.
up here?
That's a wonderful question that I do not have the answer to, but it's up there and we need it.
I guess
So
the
we're
same
gonna
person
get
who
it.
left all their money up there, right?
Indeed, indeed.
So these zombie rights activists.
Yes.
What rights do they want to give the
So I
zombies?
say zombie rights. It's more that they believe that the zombies can still be turned back in some way. So they
Right.
don't believe in like that they should be killed, or they should believe they should be like quarantined and kept in containment,
Right.
rather
okay.
than kind of murdered in the way that we do it.
Brutally
with
run
the-
over by skateboard riders, yeah.
Yes, and at the start of the game, we kind of skip it in the runs, but like the intro segment has us kind of playing a game show where we literally just murder zombies for money. In the speedrun, we skip it and start just after it because it's basically a 3-minute
Right.
auto-scroller. But
Oh, interesting. It seems the next case will occur at a certain
yes,
time.
so
So you just skip to that time? Oh, that's time skip.
yes. So usually we'd have to wait until 6:30 in game, which is a long time. Like I said earlier, it's like an hour every 5
Wait, so
minutes.
the non-time skip version must be kind of weird because you're just kind of waiting around.
Yeah, there is a category called 72-hour mode, and it's a 6-hour or so speed run, 5.5 hours of which are basically sitting in a room doing nothing and looking at your watch waiting for the next mission to start. It's awful.
Oh, well, at least you get the break.
You must get really good at the last section though if you get into that one.
Sorry, so what?
You must get really, really good at the very last case in that one though.
Yeah, for sure. But you just spend a long time waiting. So we're on case 2 now, so like I said, it's skipped ahead to the evening now. It's now beyond 7 PM, which means our little zombies here have nice red eyes, which means they're a bit more aggressive, they do a bit more damage, they have a bit more health. It's good fun. It happens every night from 7 PM to 7 AM. It won't cause too many issues for us, but it does mean we have to just be just a tad more careful. And we're going to head over to the very nicely named Uranus zone. But first, there's a man in
Wow,
the way.
these developers are extremely mature.
Indeed. So that's Chuck. Chuck is the usual protagonist of Dead Rising 2. In this, he's an optional boss. We're going to leave him there. We don't need to deal with him right now, but we are going to come back and say hello to him just a little bit later. But first, we got things to be doing. So we got shown that one of the guys responsible for laying out the zombies is hiding out here in the bathrooms in Uranus zone. Also, here we go. So we got a little jump that we got to try and do here. And we're going to abuse this game's dodgy physics, or we're just going to keep jumping off this step and missing it. I knew this would happen. So what we're intending to do... Oh, I've died. Cool.
Oh, I guess that's the end. It's over.
Yeah, that's it. That's the run over, guys.
Yeah, we start again. Go
Start
fresh.
again from the beginning, yep. Cool. So we're just going to
Click
reset to
on
the
no.
start of this zone and hopefully not die this time. Yeah, so this area is very unoptimized and kind of chugs the FPS quite a bit. But what should happen? Oh my goodness. We're just throwing. Alright, we're going to go around. We're going to take the long route. So there is a way to get up onto a roof there by abusing the skateboard's physics. You can do like very large jumps. But instead we're just going to take a very long route to get up to where we need to go anyway.
So, did I hear it right before that you were saying that if you like go off a ledge, it speeds you up on the skateboard? Is that?
Yeah, that does that, and also, yeah, if we jump at the right time while at the edge of a ledge, it propels us very high up into the air. So that's what we were trying to do there, but I failed it like 5 million times, and I didn't fancy spending forever trying to do it. How do we get up there? I haven't gone this way in so long. I believe it's right here. And then we run along the thumb here and jump across. There we go. So usually we'd be able to just skateboard straight up there. I'm kind of sad that I didn't get to show it off, but that's okay.
Yeah, it happens.
How are we going to get down here without dying? Like that. So that usually does a little bit of damage to you. I'm just going to drink this coffee so I have a little bit of health right here. And then we're going to head off to our first real boss fight of the game. So we just got one more key, which is very useful to us. That's one of the most important keys because we need it for quite a few segments going forward, which is why I really needed to get into that room that we just got into.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you can't just skateboard your way through the bosses.
Sadly not. We do have to actually go with some strategy here. So Brandon's pretty simple. We're just going to grab a shotgun and wail into him. When he charged us there and did the jump attack, we need to roll out of the way of that, because otherwise he'll grapple us and do 3 pips of damage, which would just kill us outright. This fight used to be a lot harder before we discovered that you can stand right next to him and he'll just spam the spin attack after diving at you. But, you know, that's Brandon. That's our boss fight sorted. And we're going to take his money, and we're going to go home.
So far our good guy has gone into the bathroom, beat up a guy, taken his money, and left, right?
Yes, that is Frank West's story so far. And now he's
Excellent.
going to loot a bank. So we're going to head in here, and apparently we just have the passcode to get into this vault. And we're going to rob everybody's money and hard-earned loot that we've picked up from their keys on the floor. So the keys that I've been picking up early on in the game are now going to give us a lot of money. So there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 9 keys that we open total, maybe 10. They give us a whole bunch of loot. So we got a bunch of money. This wonderful gun called the 6-shooter. I'm going to drop
Okay, I'm
this
starting to
stuff.
see where the 1 million comes from now, yeah.
Yes, indeed. We've got 2 loads of Zombrix, so you can see that up in the top right underneath our weapons. So we have that going, and we should leave with about $600,000, or just there about under. So we are good to go on that front. We'll get the last 400,000 or so from other missions leading up to it. But for now, we got to head back to the safe room with our trusty 6-shooter in tow. So remember earlier how we came in here and we had our nice little Chuck in the way? We're going to deal with him now, since we do need to kill him off for some stuff later on in the run. We need access to his bike that he's going to leave behind. Now Chuck is very annoying if he decides to not get stuck, but it looks like he might be being nice today. Alright, besides molotoving me over and over. So it's very possible for Chuck to just kind of get stuck on the railings here like this, and then we can just shoot him over and over and over. If he doesn't, he can be very annoying because he can literally just drive around the entire arena and leave you for ages. There we go, he's managed to get himself unstuck, but that's okay because he's dead. That was like the best Chuck fight I've had in weeks. I'm glad that missing the moon jumps at least has made up for that.
Yeah, that was very clean. So just to check that, Chuck did not look like a zombie, is that right?
Yeah, no, Chuck is what's called a psychopath, so they're like original survivors. They're like, you know, they're still alive, but they've gone mad from the zombie outbreak, so they serve as all the side bosses in the game. Brandon, who we just killed, was also counted as a psychopath. Basically, all of the side bosses in the game are called psychopaths, or the main bosses too, I suppose, are also referred to as that. They're basically people that have been driven insane in some way or other by the apocalypse. In Chuck's case, so in the original Dead Rising 2, he spends the game protecting his daughter and getting Zombrex shots for her. In this canon, and off the record, he failed in doing so, and has been kind of driven nuts by the fact that he wasn't able to protect his daughter, and blames us for it and tries to murder us. All of the reasons are a little bit stilted, but...
Fair enough. So the developers decided the ethically correct thing to do there is just shoot him in the head.
Yeah, over
Yeah,
and over and over.
makes sense, makes sense.
Indeed. So, that is case 2 complete, and we're going to go and start case 3. So, with this, we've spotted another thing in the little security monitors there. That's Stacy, who's the leader of the zombie activist group. She keeps spotting things out on the monitor. She gives us all the side missions that we can go and head to if we're playing this game casually. We ignore most of that throughout this game, but throughout the run, I should say. But yeah, she spotted out something going on in the underground tunnels. So we're going to go and investigate that now and see what's going on over there. And on the way, we've kind of not got too much going on. It's just a little bit of a skateboarding. So if you've got any questions or anything you want to drop in, feel free.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that really surprised me was that, like you say, you've spent the first 10 minutes essentially just doing like a shopping list. Was there ever a point in time where it was considered faster to just pick those things up as you were doing the other missions, or has it always been the case that you knew it was just faster just to grab all those things straight away?
As far as I'm aware, because I didn't route this in like the main category for this, but since I've been running it, it's always just been do the shopping at the start. The order of which we picked things up has changed in some ways throughout, as we've like decided, oh, we don't need this, or we can grab this later and it's faster. So there has been like efficiency improvements to that throughout the lifespan of this run. Um, but yeah, no, in general, it's always been get everything at the start, and then
Yeah, no, it makes
don't really
sense.
worry about it afterwards. Especially because with the keys, at least, we go to the bank quite early in the run after Brandon. That's the only time we really go in that area until right at the end of the game. So it's
Yeah,
the
that
most
makes
optimal
sense.
time to get the bank stuff. So we want all the keys before then, basically.
Mm-hmm. So, I
Oh,
mean,
there's a tiger, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine. So, I mean, the other thing was, you mentioned that your skateboard can now do just over about 100 hits of zombies. Do you have to account for roughly how many skateboards you're going to go through in a run
Yeah,
and route that in?
So we pick up 3 skateboards at the start of the run. We use the first one as basically a breaker board for the starting segment, so we just plow through the zombies. And then the second one is kind of like we keep for a while until we pick up the second magazine, and then we're happy to drop it. This third skateboard that we've got with us, we need to keep until quite deep into the run. It usually stays fine as long as you're not like just going completely reckless through zombies until when we need it to break, and then it's fine. But we can keep an eye on it, and you can see at the top right, like I said earlier, it will start blinking red in the inventory view once we're below 33% of its durability, which is when I then know, okay, I need to start being careful. Now we're on a train, by the way, so we've spotted TK, who we saw near the start of the game, in that little toolkit segment. He's trying to move a whole bunch of equipment underground, and he doesn't like us spying on it. So we're just gonna, shoot a couple of his guys in the head, and then skateboard past the rest while they shoot us, and assert dominance on
Subtle,
them.
regular journalist stuff, yeah.
Indeed, because apparently Frank West is bulletproof. Being on the skateboard, it seems to make us take a lot less damage from guns in general. I mean, they don't do too much damage to us anyway, but it's just way easier to plow through those guys by just ignoring them than actually fighting them. We can one-shot headshot them like we did with the first
Chad is dead and our guy is built different.
one.
Understood.
Indeed. So with that, TK decouples the front car of the train after we plow our way through, and tries to murder us and then leaves, and we're just kind of stuck with a whole, oh, TK's up to something bad, but we don't know what. And then we got told, oh well, better wait for the next mission. Thankfully, that's right now. And we're going to head straight on back to the safe room for case 4, which is Boomtown. So I said the light fixtures earlier was my second least favorite part of the run. This is my least favorite part of the run. The next upcoming case is so painful on TimeSkip due to the very low amount of health that we have at this part of the run and the amount of enemies that we have to deal with. So I'm going to be focusing up once we get into it just for a little bit. But
Yeah, no, that's
for
fine.
now,
I
I'm gonna,
will.
talk my
Don't
way
let me
through.
distract you too much.
Yeah, I'll talk my way through what we've got to do. So we've got 3 different casino vaults that are going to be being broken into by those mercenary guys that we just fought earlier. They've got drills on each one, and they're protecting each of them with a whole bunch of armed dudes. We've got to go kill them all, blow up the vaults, the drills, sorry, and not die in the process. And try and do that as quickly as possible. So it can be quite frustrating to do. We can take it pretty slowly and safely if we need to, but when you're trying to, save time, you take risks, you die. It happens a lot. With one of the saves that I usually use, we've got it down to a science where you'll level up kind of midway through and get your health back. I'm not sure if I've got the right amount of kills on this save file in particular, because I had to make it in a rush this morning, because it wouldn't transfer over for some reason. It was a whole thing. It's all good now.
Yeah, it happens.
But we should be good. We might just have to take things a little bit carefully and heal a couple times throughout the section.
So it's interesting to say that. So you're allowed to prep your save before starting the run. Is that right?
Yes. So so how we initially ran the game was that we would do the 3-minute auto-scroller segment at the start. You can get like a varying amount of zombie kills during that, usually between 200 and 250. If you're around the middle of that mark, you have enough money and XP to be like at a certain kind of level. So we've kind of set it so like nowadays when we do the runs, we start directly after that at the save point, and we kind of have just agreed on this is a good amount of, like, should be where the save should be, basically. So we have that save prepared, and that's how we run the game now, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. So we're going to head into this casino over here for the first of these vaults. I'm just going to make sure that I don't die here, so bear with me. I think there's 5 guys in this first vault. Oh god, I'm missing already. Okay, we're good. So that's the first one.
Very clean.
And we have enough ammo left to use our 6-shooter on the vault to kill it nice and quickly. And I need to not remember, need to not forget this money case over here, because this is how we're going to make the majority of the money left. Is we're going to stop them from stealing money, and then we're going to steal the money instead.
Lovely.
Makes a lot of sense. And we did chug.
Well, you're a good guy. You've got to take your payment, right?
Exactly. This is the price that we pay for being heroes, or the price that we get, I suppose. This is the price you pay for having heroes. There we go. That's a better way to explain it. I'm noticing that my board is already blinking, which means I probably messed up on inventory management at some point, so I'm just going to grab a new one right now.
Yeah, so this is what I was wondering before, is whether sometimes you do just go and grab a new board sometimes.
Yeah. So that's a very opportune time to do it. The room with the skateboards is right next to the safe room, so it is quite convenient to do so. But ideally you don't want to refresh it except for the one time that we have kind of designated to do so near the end of the run. And
yeah, but I would
right
imagine not having a skateboard for part of it is far more of a time loss.
Yeah,
so
if your skateboard breaks, it's like doomed. You're so much slower on foot, and it's so much harder to get through like large groups of zombies. They will just grab you and make your life a misery. So yeah, don't want to do that when you can help it.
Yeah, so there's lots of management going on here, as well as your objectives.
Yes, a lot of things to keep in mind. I've got to make sure that I have enough ammo left over to deal with this vault, which can be a pain, especially if Chuck earlier on is a pain. Cool. We've got enough shots left. Got to make sure we get that money case. Yeah, there's a lot of things to pick up and make sure you don't forget, and forgetting any one individually can basically ruin your run, which makes it great to run at a marathon. Thankfully, in the few marathons that I have done, I haven't forgotten anything completely pivotal yet, so here's hoping that we'll carry on that trend. So we're going to make our way past these other mercenaries as they continue to shoot us, and hope that they don't do too much damage to us. It is a little bit frustrating. I'm going to have to...
Yeah, I was going to say, you're very outgunned through this.
Yes, indeed. We're going to pop in here and grab something to eat. Just some nice chicken, just a whole chicken, just munch down on that, and we're good.
My guy is really living the sports fan lifestyle out here.
Indeed. And yeah, we're going to ignore those guys. There isn't no need to kill them, just waste more time. And head into the Yucatan Casino, where we were a little bit earlier, where we saw the tiger. And for the third of the vaults that we need to destroy, this one is by far the biggest pain. Thankfully we do have a prepared level up for the next kill we get, so we can kind of ignore the amount of damage that we're taking and just kind of run ahead. We're going to grab and swap a new gun. We found a handily placed machine gun just hiding in the bushes there, so we're going to use that for this last case. This last section, I should say. It is a little bit worse than the 6-shooter that we were using previously, but it does the job. It has a lot of ammo, so we can kind of be quite spammy, and we do need it for the upcoming segment. For something in particular. You still alive? Yes, you are. Can you die, please? Thank you. One more on our left right here. Cool.
Lovely, and you can breathe again now.
Indeed.
So I noticed a combo card come up there. Are those relevant at all, or are they just something you would normally use in the game but not in the run?
Yeah, so casually, like, a lot of the fun of the game is messing around by combining weapons together. So you see any of the weapons that we can pick up on the floor, if they have that little blue kind of spanner icon, that means that they can be combined with something else to make a cool combo weapon. Sadly, in the TimeSkip category, we make use of a grand total of 1 combo weapon, and it's right at the end of the run. The All
Well,
Bosses
we'll make sure to
category-
look out for that then.
Indeed, I will point it out when we get there. It is quite a cool one. However, we do, like I said earlier, we use combo drinks a couple of times, and we are just about to make use of a combo vehicle coming right up ahead, which is why we killed Chuck earlier, so we could get into his bike shed. That's going to let us grab the machine gun that we just had up there, and we're going to basically tape it to this bike. And apparently create 2 machine guns.
High tech.
Indeed. Bit of duct tape, and suddenly there's 2 machine guns. We're going to drive this along the strip here to the last thing that we need to do to complete this case. I don't know what just happened there. Where we need to destroy this little armored
I
van.
must say, when you said you wanted access to a bike shed, I thought this might be slightly more technical, but honestly, taping machine guns to a bike
That's
good
the
enough.
tech we need.
does the job.
Yeah, without killing Chuck, we won't have the key to get into that little room, so we can't create combo vehicles until that point. So we do need to dispose of him for that. So that's case 4 done. That's the most painful part of the run until basically the end of it. So now we get a little bit of chilled out time. So we're going to do a little bit of extra stuff that we need to do here. We're going to stop off right here while still being shot at and speak to this dude here. So the looters operate a bunch of kind of like shops throughout the game. We need to open them up because we do need to buy stuff from them later on, and this is the only place where you can actually get the shops to open. So while we're just passing by, we're going to open that up for later on. And then we're just going to quickly dismount from the bike there by using the camera to cancel the animation of falling off of it, and just start walking.
So are we just done with the bike now, or are we ever going back for that?
We will use bikes a little bit more throughout. We do use the machine gun bike a little bit later one more time, and we are going to jump back on a bike just in a moment. But that bike in particular is now done. So also the cutscene trigger for the next case is a bit weird, so we can actually jump up through the roof there and get to it. It's a bit odd. So now we find out that Rebecca from earlier has been kidnapped by by somebody, and they want $1 million to let her free. Now you might notice we've only got 900,000 at the moment, so we're gonna need to go and source that last 100,000 or so, or 90,000. So we're gonna head back out into the strip where those mercenaries from earlier will have mysteriously disappeared, and so we'll have our bike. So we need to go get a new bike. Thankfully, there is another one on the other end of the strip that we can go and grab that we are quite close to. So we're going to do that, and we're going to hope that I can get a very, very simple skip to work, which I did not do when I was practicing earlier. Also, that's the moon jump that I was trying to do earlier that I failed to do.
I saw you do it before. It's kind of sick.
It certainly is. Alright, so here's our bike. So you'll notice in front of us right here is a little pink car. That is Evan's clown car, which we're going to see now. So if you go right over to the left, you can actually skip the cutscene that triggers him. I did not manage to do it, so we're going to have to listen to the clown music of failure the whole time we're out in the strip for now. He is one of the more annoying side bosses to fight. Happily, he stays down there by the arena and doesn't bother us, so we can just bike away and leave it. But the whole time we're out here, we are going to hear his theme music. That's a little bit frustrating. And it does lose a little bit of time in a time skip run, but not too much.
So if you had got that, would you have been able to use the car? Is that what you're saying, or?
No, it's just to like avoid him spawning and kind of making us skip back to where we were. We could literally just bike straight past and out of there. It's maybe like 2 or 3 seconds of time save in the grand scheme of
Yeah,
things,
that makes sense. So that's your $1 million?
Yeah. That last little money case. So that was previously, that hole was blocked by the van that we just destroyed, so we needed to come in and out of the area to get it to despawn. And I failed the camera skip there to get off the bike. It doesn't take too long, it's all good. So that's Evan, he's a wonderful little fellow on stilts with ice. We're not going to worry about him, but he is out there now. But we are going to be heading to case 5. Now you can see that little timer bar blinking, which means we don't have too much time to get there, so we do want to be quite quick. But we do have to grab a couple things before we head in there. First, we're going to bully this zombie over here, and we're going to take his shotgun. Then we're going to head over here and find that our conveniently placed machine gun has respawned. So we're going to grab it again, because we like the conveniently placed machine gun. And we're going to keep that for quite a while, which is why we need the shotgun too. We want to use the shotgun first and then the LMG afterwards, because we need to have at least one bullet left in our LMG by near the end of the game, because where we're going to create another LMG bike. You can also just skateboard up this ramp for whatever reason, and we're going to head into case 5-2, which is quite frustrating. So this is where we kind of get ambushed by attractive women. There's 2 of them, but we're just going to focus on the one that's closest to us, Amber. Ideally, Crystal leaves us alone the entire time, and we can just wail on Amber, but it looks like that's not going to happen. So we're just going to try and get Crystal to de-aggro off of us by not shooting her. If she misses enough times, she'll actually leave us alone again, but she's chilling on the floor for now. Alright, we need to get away. So as soon as we kill one of the twins, the other one will self-oof, and we don't have to worry about it. So we just want to focus all of our attention on killing Amber and not being murdered by her.
The health to armor ratio here is insane.
Oh god. The thing to note with a lot of these bosses as well is that they have kind of damage caps on the amount of damage that they can take within a set period of time. So you see me like shooting a bunch and then kind of backing off and waiting a few seconds, because that's if I shoot any more, I'll just be wasting ammo into basically an invincible boss at that point. It's a weird feature that they added just to off the record, but it does stop like some of the bosses being very abusable. It was their way of kind of buffing some of the ones that were a bit easier to kill. But with that, that's Crystal and Amber dealt with. The other one, like I said, dealt with herself after you murdered her twin sister, and we're gonna leave. We're gonna leave them for dead and hunt down the $1 million that we have, that we're missing, and also Rebecca, I think. So we find out that TK, who the twins work for, is trying to escape the city with your money in a helicopter, and we don't want him to do that. So we're gonna go chase him down. But on the way, we're just going to stop off in this toy shop right here. Frank's a little bit of a sentimental guy, and he wants to pick up a, you know, a souvenir of his time in Fortune City for his nephew. So he's going to get a little toy ray gun, which we are definitely not going to be using any point in this run going forward. And we're then just going to, you know, head forward and chase down TK. So we're going to head through this casino. We don't have to worry about anything in here. We're just moving through and over to the hotel. So if any more questions, feel free.
Yeah, so is Rebecca safe now? Did we get her back, or is this...
Well, yeah, I guess. Like, she kind of just lays there on the floor, I think. It's a bit weird. I think, yeah, after the twins are dealt with, she's like safe, and I think she just says, oh, I'm going to head back to the safe room, and we're like, okay, I'm going to go get TK.
Understandable. Have a nice day. Yeah.
She kind of does that, where she's like, I'm going to go do my own thing. We've also got the clown music of failure again, since we're out in Evan's area. He won't come bother us, but just to remind us of our failure, there it is once more. And into the hotel we go, where there's a few more mercenaries we need to deal with, and then we're going to have another boss fight. So we're just going to quickly deal with these mercenaries by shooting them in the head as we come around. These ones are, for some reason, a little bit easier to deal with. They seem to just die much quicker than the others. Not sure why. Gonna push that button to make sure the lift opens nice and soon and head upstairs, ignoring that last guy. So this is probably the hardest boss fight in the game. It's a really tough fight against a helicopter. It does a lot of damage, and oh, it's dead.
Nice.
I guess the toy ray
was
gun
completely useless. Yeah.
Indeed. So for whatever reason, all the toys in this game that you're meant to kind of just use for novelty factor count as throwable weapons, and in that boss fight that we just did, the idea is that you're meant to throw like light fixtures and stuff like that at the helicopter to jam its rotors. Because the gun itself counts as a thrown weapon, we can just kind of spam shoot it to really quickly and efficiently kill off the helicopter without needing to worry about it. So it didn't even get to do anything to us. It just got stuck there and it died.
Very nice.
And with that, TK is subdued, captured in our little safe room. We got him handcuffed, and we got our $1 million back. So now we're just waiting for the military to arrive to the city to kind of deal with the zombies, get us out, and we can reveal the truth. So before that, we just need to go and get one more bit of Zombrex, and then you'd think we'd be over. And we're just gonna, you know, since we've got $1 million and we don't really know what to do with it, we're just gonna spend it. I'm feeling sports car. Gonna grab that. just for the fun of it.
Understandable. Classic purchase.
And a Zombrex, of course, so that we don't turn into a zombie. And then we're going to head up to one of the roofs outside, and we're just going to, you know, with a nice drink, a nice coffee creamer, we're going to head up to the roof and watch the military roll in and deal with the whole zombie infection in this city, and it should be all good, and then the game will basically be over, right?
Smile. No bosses were mentioned earlier.
Don't know what you mean. This is
So I'm noticing that you're doing a lot of like moving from boss to boss here. I assume that is like most of the run, right? Like in the actual game, maybe you have to do more things in between, but
So a lot of the like casual playthrough of the game involves you kind of heading around, doing side missions to basically rescue survivors from the zombies. So there's a lot of that, and there are like some optional missions that have bosses included. The main story is pretty short in comparison. There's like maybe 9 missions, I suppose, with the main story. And I think 4 of them have like bosses associated with them. So that's why it does feel like a little bit of a boss rush, and we do have another one coming up very shortly. But yeah, no, that's kind of just how it is, I suppose. Like the main story, they kind of pack a bunch of bosses, like story-wise, in there. And because we're only doing the main story in this category, it just seems very boss rushy. So what happened in the cutscene that we just skipped was that the military arrived, gas came up from the ground, mutated the zombies, and then the military died. And
nice.
the last soldier dude, or one of the last soldier dudes, he drove off, and Rebecca, who was taking pictures on another rooftop, decided to follow him, and my brain just stopped working and I forgot what I was doing for a moment. So we're going to grab here, put coffee creamer and orange juice together to make a lovely tasting drink. That's our second combo drink of the thing, and we also need this shotgun right here. Now sadly we do have to do away with one of our magazines right now for this drink. So we need to be very careful with our skateboard from now on, because I didn't replace it when I was meant to just now. So it shouldn't have too much durability left on it. And we also need to be very careful of these horrible gas zombies that have now spawned in the game. They are so much stronger than average zombies, they are much faster, and they also come with the horrible ability to vomit on you, which makes you cough and throw up, making you susceptible to attacks. We really don't want to be dealing with that at any point, so we're going to try and avoid them and give them as much of a wide berth as possible where we can.
Makes sense, yeah.
And then we're going to head down into the underground, following where this the last of these soldiers went, to see if we can rescue Rebecca once again. You can see that running theme in this game now. Heading in here for probably the most painful boss fight of the run. This is Sergeant Boykin. So he's kind of gone mad after seeing his fellows killed by the zombies, and seems to think we're a zombie, despite the fact that we are obviously shooting him with a shotgun. So the strategy for this guy should be quite simple. He has 2 main modes. He has melee mode, where he'll chase you down and try and hit you, and then he has range mode, where he'll try and shoot you. If we stay close enough to him, he should just stay in melee mode, try and charge us down, and then go for a kick. And because we deal enough damage to him in his charge up phase, he'll then roll away before he gets to hit us. So we can just kind of manage him like that. So I'm just trying to keep him at range and not let him hit us. And you see that he'll just keep rolling away as he gets towards us.
Yeah, I was going to say keeping him in that wall near the corner is...
Yes. And I tried not to let my shotgun break there, because there is a little stumble animation that is unskippable that can let you get hit. So now Rebecca's hurt, so we need to carry her back to the safe house, and we're going to chug our little quick step just before we do so. Since we can't skateboard with her, we are just going to carry her while using the second of our quick steps. That's why we just made it earlier. It makes this section a lot faster.
I got to try this coffee-orange combo sometime.
Wouldn't recommend it, but I mean, you can if you want to.
Hey, I mean, look what it does to Frank. Look what it does to Frank.
I wish I could get around that quickly. It also means that it's much easier to get through all of these gas zombies, which we really don't want to be dealing with, like I said. And it lasts kind of about the perfect amount of time until we get to the sports car that we bought earlier, which we can then use to transport her the rest of the way.
Lovely. So I was going to say, I noticed before, do you only have like a limited inventory, which is why...
Yes. So at the start of the game we have 4 inventory spaces, and then you unlock more as you level up. It means that categories like all bosses, which I like to do, and the all survivors category, where you rescue a lot more survivors and you've done a lot more, because you're higher level, you'll have more inventory space to do more things that you like. With this category, we only have very limited space, so we did have to drop that magazine, like I said earlier, to have room for this quick step as well as the guns and stuff that we needed to actually deal with Boy Kid. From now on, we do have space in our inventory, so in theory, if I wanted to, I could try and grab it back, but it's just longer to go and get it. So yeah, our quick step just ran out, but just in time for us to get in this car and drive Rebecca most of the rest of the way back to the safe room.
And the minute you get in, she teleports in too. Very
She
convenient.
does indeed. We can just leave her kind of close. I'm going to park the car so that she's on that side because she moves very slowly. And then the rest of it is just like a slight walk back before, you know, getting her to safety, and then all should be good, right?
I am enjoying that they still have her having heels on through all of this. It
Oh,
seems
indeed,
very
yes.
inconvenient.
No, Rebecca is, you know, she's one of those people that just, she ain't taking those shoes off no matter what. She got to look good, and she's going to, you know, she's going to slay, and she's going to look good while doing it.
Understandable.
So we head into the safe room, we take Rebecca back, and that's case 7 done. And then, I can't remember what happens in this cutscene. I think we just do a whole lot of telling TK he's an idiot. Like, screw you, TK, how could you, what's going on? I think we then find out that the military are going to firebomb the city because the rescue attempt failed, and someone told them that there was no survivors. And then suddenly someone let zombies into the safe room. It's not ever really apparent who, although you can kind of have a guess later on based on what happens in the rest of the story. But I won't spoil that just yet. So in this segment, we're just kind of grabbing a bunch of random items from around the safe room to hotwire the door panel closed again. It doesn't make too much sense to me. Thank you for that, Chris. I really needed you to hit me in the face with a broom. But yeah, we're just kind of making our way through these zombies, trying to ignore them and hoping that our survivors will stay alive while we do so. Usually they're fine. Sometimes they can get themselves grabbed and die. It's not a big deal if they do, but it is sad to see. So we need 3 items. We got the gas barrel from earlier, we got the generator right here, and then we're going to go and collect the spool of wire from deeper in the safe room at the end.
The classic hot wiring tools, yes.
Indeed.
I feel like the gas barrel has to be the strangest one though.
Every part of it is just odd, but yeah, I do agree. The gas barrel was kind of like, huh? I guess he's using it to fuel the generator.
Maybe? Yeah, I suppose. And then he's just putting a lot of power into the thing and
Yep.
smiling.
Yes, that is basically the plan that we got here. So here is object number 3. Other categories, we would actually have another quick step available to use here, which makes this segment a lot faster, but we were already pressed for inventory space as it is. So this section is quite interesting because with certain hardware, certain CPUs, it can cause the next cutscene to just completely crash up and freeze. Thankfully it has not happened on this computer, but it did happen to me in the past, and the weird fix that we had for it, while I just spam A, was to set the computer to run on single core throughout this mission, which makes it run like absolute hell, but is the only way to get past the next cutscene if you have that weird bug with your CPU. It's
I
a
mean,
very
you see
strange
this sort of
little-
thing in a lot of speedruns of older games. You do just have to find weird workarounds sometimes.
It took us so long to figure out the workaround as well. It was like I couldn't run the game for ages when I had the issue. So after that, you know, I think this is when we then find out that the firebomb is a thing, and I think Frank just resolves to go and try and find out what the hell's going on with the gas. So he's going to head on underground and just have a little poke around, because he ain't got anything else to do rather than wait to die. So he's going to hope that, you know, whatever's going on with the gas leads him to not die. Also, you can see up the top right, it says that TK is infected. That's how we unlock kind of the true ending of the game. We don't actually do it in this run. All bosses does involve us doing that, which is why I would have preferred to run it, but you know, time is time, and that's how we be. But we do, in that case, we would need an extra Zombrex after he got bitten during that previous segment that we just had to give to him in order to unlock the overtime mode, which leads to the true ending of the game. What's called ending S. So in this, we are just going to head to what's called, I think it's ending B that we get. But yeah, giving TK the Zombrex gives you then ending A, which then leads into ending S after that. We have a blinking skateboard, which we need to be very, very careful about. So we're headed over this way to the kind of closest part to where this next mission starts. The arrow does direct you to go in a very wacky way to get there, but like I said, we're going to ignore that because we know what we're doing. This is the fastest way. And you'll notice that my inventory is pretty light now. I just have a nearly broken skateboard, a magazine, and an LMG with very very few ammo left in it. Like I said, I need maybe like 1 bullet left in the LMG. We do need to kill just a couple things in this next area, but beyond that, we don't actually need any more items throughout the rest of the run besides what we can pick up while there. So the only thing we need to worry about in that regard now is not losing all of my skateboard's health on this massive horde of zombies in front of us. So we're going to do that, not get knocked down, and head into their laboratory. We're just going to ignore all those guys. It don't matter that they're shooting at us. We're just going to ignore them. And then we're going to
They
head...
wouldn't follow us in. That'd be ridiculous.
That would be ridiculous. So we head into this kind of weird laboratory building underground, where we find that somebody is harvesting what's called the queens from zombies. So queens are kind of like a wasp, is what is actually caused the zombie virus in the first place. Getting stung by the wasp will then cause you to become infected with the virus. I believe that's how it works anyway. And then we're just... so we find that they're harvesting the queens for whatever reason, and we're a bit confused as to why. We're meant to murder those guys and then head into this back room, where we then find out that they're using the queens to basically create the Zombrex drug. We kill those scientists because they try and shoot us, or they do shoot us, and then we are going to leave. And we find out that these guys are basically connected to the Phenotrans like pharma company that is what makes the Zombrex drug. So we're thinking now, what the hell, Phenotrans created the outbreak to try and, you know, drive up their stock prices or something, or sell more drugs. So we're like, what the hell? And we think we've got the story of a lifetime. Also, we found like a phone of some sort down there that was connected to the outside, so we were able to let somebody or other know that, or we're going to try and let somebody other or know that we are still alive and we would like to not be firebombed, please. But we're going to head back to the safe room and share our findings with the group in there, and then hopefully be all good. So I'm just going to, I'm going to be a bit careful as I'm skateboarding along here. I really don't want this board to break. I'm going to replace it before the last mission coming up, because I really don't want it to break during that. But yeah, it's, I said that and then just plowed through about 10 zombies, but that's all good.
I would say you've done a very good job of avoiding things, so...
It's like... It's more what the game decides you're allowed to avoid at some points. Like, otherwise you have to go a long way
I'm sure you've
around
practiced it, though.
Yeah. It's like, you can usually, especially in this one, you can usually get away with just plowing through. That's my skateboard broken.
Look, conveniently, I mean, I was about to say before, I did notice that the car had just respawned back there, so that must be really useful sometimes. Like this.
Yeah. I've never had it be more useful than that moment right there.
Full of intentional.
I promise it wasn't as intentional as it looked. That was just honestly the most convenient time for that to break. So we're going to grab one more skateboard, and then we're going to head back to the safe room. So yeah, usually we refresh our skateboard when we buy the last Zombrex before case 7. I did kind of think because I had replaced it earlier, I wouldn't need to replace it then, but I guess I was wrong. So, into the safe house we go.
It's all part of the thing, I asked you about it earlier, you were playing into it,
Exactly,
it's making good content, it's making good content.
Just showing you what happens when the skateboard breaks. So yeah, into this security room we go for like our big confrontation. We're like, what the hell, the drug company bad, big pharma bad. And then we find out that Stacy, who we thought was part of the cure group, was actually an agent from Phenotrans the whole time. And she shoots Sullivan, murders him, and shoots Rebecca too. We think she's dead, and then she runs off. And we also find out that her ponytail was fake and that she has short hair. I don't know why that was necessary, but here we are.
You would have recognized her as part of Big Pharma otherwise, so
Yeah.
So now we probably know who let the zombies in, I'm assuming.
There we go. And it's interesting as well, because in Dead Rising 2 base, that changes up. Stacy is a good person, and Sullivan is the Phenotrans agent. But they decided to mix it up for the off-the-record just for the fun of it. Also, in Dead Rising 2, Rebecca gets shot in the head and dies instantly. In this, she gets shot in the stomach and then is able to be rescued once again at the end. Also, I kind of went slightly the wrong way there. There's another painful segment here coming up, which I like to affectionately call the skateboard of Please Don't Vomit. All of the most of the soldiers that we're going to kind of drive past here, they have guns that can effectively make us vomit if they hit us with it. which we really don't want because then it leads to us getting swarmed by zombies and getting shot and probably dying. It's kind of just like, please don't hit me. It doesn't usually happen, but I have lost runs to being hit by it in the past, and I don't really want to die here. I do have full health, so I should be able to survive like one painful section of vomiting, but I really don't want to. So
Just like real life, really. Don't get shot, don't throw up. Pretty much.
okay, I didn't even hear them fire the electro gun, so we're good. Yeah, we're not going to throw up. It's all good. So we are going to make use of this bike shed once more. We kept our LMG from earlier to make one more bike. And there's a bunch of what's called harvesters out here in the thing, harvesting all kinds of queens and zombies that they can. And there's a bunch of soldiers protecting them. The idea here is that we're just going to, as quickly as possible, drive around and decimate every harvester in the area. There were 2 survivors there that we can talk to if we need to. Speaking to them gives us enough experience to level up at any point. So if we're low on health, we can go and talk to them to get a free level up and a free health restore. Thankfully though, we're full health at the moment, so we don't need to worry about that. We're just going to ignore these guys.
So I mean, the other thing I was going to say is, do you now have unlimited ammo from the bike?
Not quite unlimited. It's a lot, but it's not unlimited. It is very possible to run out. I've done it before. It is also possible for the bike to break. I've done that before. So I have to be careful, but not too careful.
So do you get an indicator when that's about to happen?
Nope. I mean, you can get an indicator of the bike's damage. Just kind of see by the look of it that it's looking a bit more beat up. I think black smoke starts to come out of it when it's near breaking. But the ammo, I'm not sure of any indicator for it.
It's interesting just because all the stuff in your inventory don't say, right? So.
Yeah. I suppose it's just because the bike is treated as not in your inventory, it's something that you're on, I don't know. But yeah, that's all of the harvesters dealt
just sort
with.
of older game design, right?
Yeah. All of the harvesters are dealt with, however the soldiers are still here and we don't like that, so we're going to load the checkpoint to get rid of them. Now usually when we run the game it's timed with a load remover, so loading the checkpoint doesn't lose us any time really there. Because all this time it would be nice and paused, and those guys are now gone. And we're going to head into the final boss of the game coming up. So we're heading into the Uranus zone for the second and final time. For a very probably the strangest part of the game. It's the final boss is very, very odd and off the record. In Dead Rising 2 base, it's just a kind of fist fight with Sullivan up on the roof of a building. In this, it's a little more quirky. So we're just going to grab some food before we head in, just in case I mess up. I did die during my practice run here yesterday or the day before. It was quite entertaining. I was 2 minutes ahead of my PB. But yeah, here's giant super death robot Stacy.
So is it kill this in time or?
Yes, so I'll let you know when we're coming up to time. There's 3 phases of this fight, so it's a little way off yet, probably about 3-4 minutes, but we are getting to the end of it now, yes.
Okay, so about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, maybe a little less depending on how nice Stacy wants to be. So she has a bunch of different attacks in each phase. Some will let us actually get damage on her, some will not. So we're just hoping for like ones where she kind of slams down and leaves her fist, and not stuff like this where she won't do that.
So what's the story behind why this thing is?
I wish I knew. I think, so I don't know. She just suddenly has this death robot. That's all I got.
Understandable. Understandable. So is this the pharma company or?
Yes, so Stacy is one of like, I don't know, the head agents of the pharma company Phenotrans. The cutscene that we have leading up to this does have them have like a whole like 5-minute talk about what's going on. She basically says we can't make Dombrex without the queens, so we need to create outbreaks so that, you know, our country's best will stay uninfected and stuff like that. And he's like, that's crazy, blah blah blah, you're killing people. It's a whole moral quandary with not really any real right answer, but there we are. And then she just tries to kill us. So that's phase 1 done. It's pretty easy, it's just poison the fists and then beat her up. For the second one, we're going to go and create our combo weapon. The only combo weapon of the run, and it's a very strange one. So we're going to grab a vacuum cleaner here. And then we're going to add saw blade. And we're going to create this monstrosity, the Exsanguinator. And for whatever reason, this weapon does a lot of damage to this particular phase of Stacy, due to the way that the attack kind of happens, it's like lots of mini attacks that small damage rather than one big attack, so just the way that it works is very nice. So again, we're looking for, her claws to get stuck in the ground, and then we're just going to run up on the exposed sections and wail on them. We want her to basically not throw boxes and do stuff like this. It's very possible here, so we could get this in 2 cycles if I get the right angle. I'm not going to do that, but that's okay.
It was really close though.
Yeah, that's not an attack that we want. This one, however, is. And there we go, that would be phase 2 done. So phase 3 is a lot more straightforward. She's going to her claws are going to fall off, and she's just going to use the head of the robot now. And it's going to open up these 2 missile batteries on the side. So we need to jump up on the top of these, activate them, and hit her with missiles, and then jump on and have a kind of QTE fight with her. So there'll be 3 times that we'll need to do that. So we'll activate each missile rack once, attack her, and then the second one we'll have to wait for it to reactivate, and then go for it here. Time will be on the 4th button press of the 3rd attack, so I'll kind of let you know when we're coming up to it.
Yeah, just shout it when you're there.
Yes. So that's number 1. So yeah, this was the point in my practice run the other day where I did die. Is that a slam? Oh my god. Oh! Okay, that attack is very rare. It's hard to avoid, but if she does do it, and you don't mispress the button like I just did.
You've been doing a great run.
I can't believe that just happened. So that attack is really rare, but it lets you get a much faster kill on her if you do it right. And then I mispressed the QT and messed it up. But
It happens, it happens.
hey ho, here we are.
This is live speedrunning.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, usually you have to kind of wait for this second battery over here to be ready again. But if she does that slam attack, you can get on top. Can we do it again? No, she's not going to let me this time. Cool, that's fine. There's a zombie here for whatever reason. Roll under that fire. No, we're not going to roll under the fire. Okay. So we're just kind of waiting for this to be active again. And she killed me.
Ooh, really unlucky though.
I think that was a bit weird. So there's weird phases in this game where like attacks can do way more damage to you than they should do, and I think that's what just happened there. I'm gonna have to redo this whole fight now, which is quite frustrating.
Dear. So just out of interest, what is your PB for this?
In-game time, so without the load, with the loads removed, it's around 53 minutes. I can't remember the exact number right now. The world record is just under 50 minutes. I think it's 49.54 or something like that. So it's quite a way off. Obviously that's in real time, so it's a bit off. I think it also that then depends on loads as well. So real time isn't exactly a great way to time it, but you can get a rough idea based on that. I'm going to assume based on that, and there's like probably 5 minutes plus that we're losing, that I'm going to be nowhere near my PB now. But
yeah, so I mean that just there when you died was at about 106, so it was still a really good time.
Yeah, that would be probably like close to PB at that point. That'd probably be about 55 minutes in game time, which isn't too terrible. But I did miss up the moon jumps early on for quite a while, and there were some other things that I didn't do as optimally as I could have. I was quite slow on the case 4 section because I was playing it safe rather than really bombing.
Yeah, I
through
mean
it.
this is the thing, is live runs will always be slower because you've got to try and make it happen, you know.
Of course. Especially with this as well, where like dying can send you back quite far, like you just saw.
Yeah.
Like doing this whole fight again is very frustrating. But here we are, you know.
Nice RNG on that one as well.
Yeah, not terrible. We're gonna get to full health. I don't even know if that goes through if the cutscene happens. No, it does not. Also, you'll notice that hot dog that I have there is spoiled. That's another benefit of the sportsman outfit. We can eat any spoiled food without getting sick. Otherwise, we'd turn into a mode where we're throwing up for ages, and we definitely don't want that. So that's just another like mini perk of having the sportsman outfit on.
Really nice.
So we don't mind that.
How much life does the food give you back?
It depends on each different food item. I believe hot dogs are 3 life pips. It might be more with the sportsman outfit.
So you want to try and use them when you're low on life rather than
Yeah.
just try and stay at full. Yeah, that makes sense.
Whoops. I'm really, you know, showing how to run this game right now.
Oh, it's fine. End of runs.
There we go. Cool.
Very clean.
There we go, and that's that in 2 rather than like however many it was last time.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is kind of like the biggest part of like luck / RNG that you can get in the run. Depending on how nice Stacy wants to be, this can easily be like a short fight or a very long fight. There are parts to it in each kind of phase that can make it longer or shorter. She really doesn't like me today. Alright, let's not mess up this time. Hey. Why? Cool, there's one. Once we get thrown off, we're going to eat a hot dog.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to climb on. No! Okay, I've never seen this before.
That's really unfortunate.
Oh well.
Just trying to eat another hot dog.
Indeed. But we'll use the we'll activate the rack first. I don't think she'll get another attack. No, she will. She's really just not cooperating with me. I might not get on in time.
Thankfully, you managed to make it through.
Okay, we're good.
There you go.
Alright, so now we gotta wait maybe like, I think 2 or 3 attacks worth before the rack will activate. You tend to know it based on the music if you do this fight enough, but I did take my time, so I might be off on it. Should be this attack. I'm gonna assume that that's gonna be ready very soon. There we go. There we go. If you time that just right, you can avoid the attack, so that looked pretty nice.
Very clean.
Alright, so the 4th button press here will be timed. So 1, 2, 3, and that's time.
That's time.
There we go. We'll just pretend that the first rendition of that boss fight never happened.
It's first try, first try. That's all we saw. That was very clean. So that is
Throw my
a
controller on the floor.
1:11:21. Really nice run from you there. Thank you for
Cool,
that.
thank you very much. And we'll leave you with a couple of awful one-liners that he throws out with his cursor. But yeah, that was Dead Rising 2 off the record. Thank you for having me. Thank you for watching, if anybody's out there.
So is there anyone you want to shout out at the end of your run?
Yeah, shout out to the whole Dead Rising speedrunning community. I love you guys. We've made so much progress with these games in the last year or so, so it's really good. I'm really glad to have it here. And hopefully more of us at marathons real soon, yeah?
It's Agent S. I'm ready for extraction.
All right.
And shout out to everybody here at WASD as well.
I just have an
You're all
old
great.
newspaper
You're all amazing.
that needs to be taken out to the trash.
Well, thank you very, very much.
Oh my god, look at this. The donation target. We're at 420. We hit
Hooray.
the 420. We hit the funny number for unfunny people. We did it.
Bye.
Is it actually? Of course it is. Ah, that's great. Thank you very much for those donations. I will actually read that out as soon as I can see what the actual message is.
Channel 6 Action News.
I wonder if the
Frank
donation.
West.
Oh, okay.
Someone
So first donation was from Hudsonbtw, donated £10.69. And then we had Swede Ola, who then donated £8.45 to then reach the funny number.
Thank you,
Thank you
Sweet.
very much, both of you, for those donations.
By the power of Dead Rising 2.
Okay, so up next. Oh, I just realised I'm the only person who can do tech again. Oh boy, isn't this going to go great? I'm going to go switch to the coming up next screen, and then we will go into the next one. Wait, oh, that's my run. Oh, okay, my run. Yay! Wait, no, it's not. It's not my run. Who? Somebody lied to me.
Yeah, you're off
This
to me,
whole-
right?
Yeah. What? Wait, no. What? What's going on? Okay. Sure. In a bit. Wait, that's...
That's me again.